By the way, just fair warning, there's a stain on my shirt I didn't know about. I'm so sorry, don't judge me. Today we're going to be painting snowflakes on nails. With these very simple rules, you can go from this all the way to that. Just keep watching. Hi, I'm Raquelita. Welcome back to another episode of Toony Nails, the channel where we make cartoons on nails. Or at this point, we're really just teaching you how to do art on nails. Simple cartoony art. So this episode, we're gonna go over snowflakes. Snowflakes are like the staple of winter, really. So of course, we're gonna teach you how to make them on nails so you can show them off during Christmas in all types of colors. So what you're gonna need to make snowflakes are like very simple rules. With these rules, you can make any snowflake you like. So this is how you're gonna start. There are two kinds of snowflakes. There's a 4-point snowflake that starts out like this. It has 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're gonna make little lines in between those 4 lines. And that's your first basic snowflake. The next snowflake is the 6-point snowflake. You're gonna start with one line like this, and then an X. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then if you wanna get fancier, you can do the same thing as with the first snowflake and draw lines in between each one of those lines. Now, once you can master these two very simple lines, so you got your 4-point and your 6-point, what you're gonna do is gonna add these kinds of shapes. An upside down V, a right side up V, a longer V, or a simple circle. With these 4 shapes added onto these, we're gonna create some magic. Thank you. Are you ready to see some magic? Okay. So here we have our 4-point snowflake. Let's say we want to add the little extra lines. And then with our V shape, we're going to go at the end of our snowflake. At each point, we're going to add that V shape. And then on our little ones, V shape, V, V, V. There we go. Super simple snowflake. You can't lie with that. Let's try it on this one. If we want to make really complicated snowflakes, we want to start from the middle outwards. That way you don't run out of space. So let's make a V right here. Next one. Whatever you're doing to one line, you're going to do to the other. And then work your way out. Here, here, here. There you go. A more complicated snowflake, but yet very, very beautiful. And don't be fooled, just because a snowflake is very complicated doesn't mean it's any prettier than a simple one. But it can be. Oh, I'm missing one. Okay, now let's do it with circles. Here we got our little snowflake. Let's draw, remember, move from the inside out. Circle there, circle here. Just go around every single line, get the circle. And then we're gonna add a bigger circle here, but only on the in-between small lines. Beautiful. Now we're gonna do an open circle on the big lines. Like that. And then at the very end, big snowflake circle. And if you want, you can even add circles in between the spaces. If you do that in white, it will look a lot nicer. Here's our 6-point. Let's make it a little more hefty. Not hefty, what do I say, fancy? Fancy snowflake, okay. In between lines. And then let's do a teardrop sort of circle. Like this. But on your snowflake. Cool. Circle at the end. Very nice.
Yeah. We have to watch Moo Cow clean the board.
Stop.
Action.
Now here's a very special shape I wanted to show you. It's the snowflake with the long V's. Like this. And then you're gonna add a little V on top, like this, to make that diamond shape. So to make the long V, start at each side of a line, all the way down to its middle, come back up, there's our long V, and then our short V. We're gonna do it again with all the lines. Short V, long V, short V, long V, short V, long V, short V, and you already know. Look at that beautiful snowflake shape. With that, you can add on like little circles in the ends. It looks more like a flower at this point. To make it really snowflakey, you just add little lines. That's gonna come in handy with one of the tutorials up ahead in the video. Another really cool way to make a snowflake is using the 6 star. Using the 6 point, you're gonna add that upside down V, like this, in between all the shapes. Sorry, in between each line, you're gonna do that upside down V. And now you have a star. Another really easy way to make that star is to do a triangle with another upside down triangle right on top of it. And that's the Star of David, which has 6 points. That's gonna really help you make beautiful snowflakes like this. That's another trick you can try. So I've got my Canucks jersey here, or just t-shirt. So now you know I live in Vancouver. Well, I think that's okay, because if you want your nails done by me, you can always come to Vancouver. But anyway, we're gonna start with the video now, and you can see how it looks to do the snowflakes perfectly on the, not perfectly, it's not perfect, I'm not that perfect. You can see what it's like to do the actual painting on the nails. So continue with the video, and let's get started. So I just want to say that the actual easiest, most basic way to paint snowflakes is just to make a bunch of dots on a nail. Using your dotting tool. Just like that, and you just spread them around using different sizes, big and small. And it will just look like it's snow falling on your nails. I'm telling you, it is the easiest way. But let's move on with more complicated snowflakes, shall we? Well, still one of the most basic snowflakes you can do. This one is a 4-point snowflake, but really it's an 8-point because I'm just going to do this exact same shape, but in between the already existing line. So right now I have like a cross or an X, and then I'm just going to paint another X in between the spaces. So going like this, across, and one up and down. Just like that. And that's a very, very simple snowflake you can use and still look super pretty and snowy like. You can also use it as a star. This next one is a 6-point snowflake. We're going to start with our middle, and then we're going to do an X across that line. Now when it comes to painting with a really thin brush, you have to practice and see what each angle is going to give you, because if you use the very tip, you get a more like thick line, and then as you like lay down the brush, you get that more skinny line that you can really pull across the nail. So here I'm making another 4-point snowflake, and I'm using the tip to make the ends of the snowflake thicker than when they go into the middle, just like that. See, thick, and then as it goes into the middle, it gets a little thinner. And then instead of connecting the lines in between my 4-point snowflake, I'm going to leave like a little bit of space to the center. And that gives me a kind of a more fancy snowflake. Here I'm just fixing the first snowflake I made, making it a little thicker. And I'm going to get my dotting tool right now, and I'm going to start adding dots to my snowflakes. So this is like the circle shape that I was talking about that you can add to your snowflakes to make them more nice. So with that simple snowflake, I'm just putting like kind of like the dotting on the eye, you know? Here, with my 6-point snowflake, I'm just putting the dots in between the snowflake. So that's a really cool trick that you can use. It's really, really easy and can really decorate your snowflake and take it to the next level just from being simple lines. This one was a 4-point snowflake that I made, and I made the 4 points thick, and the in-between lines I made them thinner. And here I'm using the V shape to decorate my snowflake. Oh, it's so pretty. Snowflakes are really, really fun. If you want tips on how snowflakes work, you should watch Donald in Mathmagicland. It's like a really cute Disney movie from like the 40s, I think. It's on YouTube. You can look up Donald in Mathmagicland. And it shows you like the shapes that nature tends to lean towards when creating its, I guess, like snowflakes or like flowers or starfish. It really likes that star kind of shape, like naturally. Just watch it. It'll help you kind of visualize how this all works in nature and how snowflakes are formed. I guess I wanted to talk about symmetry with snowflakes. Because like whatever happens on one side happens on the other, because it just kind of starts from the middle and spreads out, doing exactly the same thing. But as we all know, in nature, not everything is perfectly symmetrical. So you don't have to either. This is a 6-point snowflake that I'm just adding V's at the end of. But the special trick here is that I'm making the... Oh, I'm just making another snowflake. Never mind, I thought I was doing something different to that snowflake. I guess the special thing about the first snowflake is that it's thick. It's not just using the thin lines like I'm using right now in the second snowflake. And it kind of makes it look, it's a look, you know? It's a thick, chunky snowflake look. I like to think of them as Christmas cookies and why I like them so much. So this one has thinner lines, the second snowflake, so that I can really get more detail into it. Because the thicker the lines are, the less detail you can add because you just won't have any room. So if you have really thin lines, you can add all these little V shapes in between each line. So again, that's just a 6-point snowflake with some V's on the lines. Now I'm just fixing up the little mistakes to make it a little more even. Because, like I said, I'm not perfect. And you don't have to either. You can always go back and add more. Over here, we're doing a smaller snowflake. And it seems to be a 6-point snowflake. No, it's a 4-point. No, it's an 8-point snowflake. I got you there, didn't I? Just kidding. I don't know. I'm not watching ahead to see what I'm actually doing. I'm just kind of talking while it's happening. So this is like a 4-point snowflake, and I just did lines in between. I know I said it was 8, but I don't really like to say 8 because it's really just a 4 with lines in between. And it might get confusing if I say 8. And here we're going to add our little V shapes. But it's different because on the 4 points, you put them at the end of the line. And then in between, you do just before it ends. To get that really nice kind of... Wow. I like how I'm doing the little... Yeah, the little drops at the end. See, and they're not really touching the snowflakes, but they're really nice decoration. As I was saying, to get some variation in your snowflake so that it's not just the same throughout every single line. Here we're going to get a little more complicated. Each nail video is going to get more complicated as you go on throughout the video. So this one is I see a 6-point snowflake. And what are we going to do next? Let's see. Oh, by the way, I did Kiki and Lala nails there on my left hand. Somebody came in to do nails at my house, and they wanted like the Sanrio character that's like, I don't know her name, but it's like the opposite of, oh my god, of my Melody, the little purple bunny girl. Anyway, it was so cute that I decided also to do Sanrio nails on myself. And Kiki and Lala are my favorite, my little twin stars. So this is my 6-point snowflake. I did V's at the ends of each line. And then the special thing here is I'm going to make them thicker as they go down into the center, kind of like hearts. If you can see that. Like I'm taking my... They're kind of like little bones, all heading towards the center of the snowflake, but now I'm turning them into hearts. And that's going to give me a really fun shape in the end, and you'll see. I guess you can say this one is a little simpler, but I guess it's more about the paintbrush control. That's probably the hardest thing about doing snowflakes, not just understanding where to put all the lines, but controlling the paintbrush. But again, that comes with practice. I'm still practicing. Even throughout all these videos, I'm practicing again. I just graduated on Wednesday as a nail technician. So I'm just here with you guys in the beginner phase. I'm doing that decorating tip of not touching the nail, not touching the snowflake. Just its little kind of like fun beans hanging around. If the nail was an atom, these are the electrons. We're doing our V shape in the middle of each nail there with very, very thin, very, very small strokes. With that, I have to really control my paintbrush and work with the tip of the paintbrush and use a little bit of gel, not so much like so that it's like balling up at the end of the paintbrush. If you dip your paintbrush in gel and then hold it down, you can see it will like slide. Because it's still wet, it will just like bubble up at the bottom. And then when you use the tip, it'll just make a dot basically. So we don't want that. That's why I spread it out on my little palette first. So this is a 4-point snowflake. I'm doing the lines in between, smaller and thinner than my 4-point lines. And I guess I'm reaching over here for my dotting tool. We're going to use the circle methods to decorate our snowflake lines. That's my super nice Christmas gift thumb. So we're doing our circles in the in-between lines, just in the middle of the line. And then we're going to add another circle at the end of the in-between lines. Oh, and then it looks like we're going to add V's. So this is how you can mix up the circles and the V's within your snowflake to get a really interesting look. The more you mix around with like shapes, the more interesting your snowflake will look, but you can make it look quite crowded, so watch out for that. I'm going to talk about this at the end of the video, but basically, the more you practice, the more you'll know when to stop. Because if you add way too many lines to your snowflake, it's just going to be like a mess. Trust me, I tried, and it was crazy. Even this one is quite crowded, but it's already out of the picture here on the nail, so it's okay. It's not taking up too much space. So I really like this one because it's a mix of the V's and the circles all at once. They kind of look like fish ribs, like cartoon fish ribs. But anyway. And then this is your basic star that you can add on as an add-on. Just a circle with a 4-point lines. Ding! It's like the anime shine. So this is one of my favorite snowflakes. I don't know why I liked it so much. It just looks so pretty. I'm going to be doing a free-handed David star. So that's the star that you do like one triangle and then another triangle on top. But since I don't want my lines in the middle and I don't want to be erasing anything, I'm just going to show you how I free-handed it. And as you can see, if you freehand stuff, you're more likely to struggle like me to make the perfect star. But I'm just going to add my lines in between the corners of the star to make my favorite snowflake. I guess we're just going to sit here, you and me, in silence, watching my snowflake grow, pretending I am God. Now we're doing V's on the lines that are spreading from my snowflake. And then we're going to dot the eyes of those lines. See, snowflakes are also like trees. Like the branches start out as one and then they branch out. No need to explain that one. But snowflakes are basically just ice that's branching out from a center. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so like, I don't know. It is simple but also complicated because you do have that star in the center. Oh, it looks like a cookie or something you'd get at IKEA. And I love, love, love IKEA. So this is the very special star using the long V technique. So I'm making my little V there at the top, or my diamond shape. So long V, short V at the top, long V along the line, short V at the top, just like I explained in the start of the video, which my boyfriend helped me film. I was reaching, oh actually you'll see later, but there's something very funny at the end that happened. Not funny for my boyfriend, but funny in general. This is a very beautiful a snowflake shape. I think it's the ones that like cookie cutters come in. And at first it might look like a flower, but once you fill it in, it looks more like a snowflake. So here I am filling it in. And this is also, I think, the shape you find in like Christmas sweaters. It's a very Christmassy, like, yeah, Christmas sweater snowflake shape. I don't know if you have one around, but just look around at your snowflake sweaters to see if you can find this. So I'm just gonna keep filling in the drawing I made, the sketch, I guess, that I did, the diamond sketch. And as you can see, I kind of mess up and then I repair my mistakes as I go along. So my, like, snowflake didn't end up being as small as I wanted to. It just kept getting bigger, but at least it looks balanced. See, look at that. It's so beautiful. I love this snowflake. It's like thick and nice. And like I said, I like the thick snowflakes. The chunky snowflakes that look like cookies. And here I'm just doing hearts in this between the spaces of the snowflake. And if you keep going with that, you're just going to get a really complicated design. Just watch. There you go. So yeah, I filled in the black in between the white to get really crazy stuff. Thank you for watching the video. I just want to recap everything we went through. So what you really got to remember is the 4 points with the little extras. And the 6th point, which is straight and an X. And your basic shapes. Your V's or your circles. Go ahead and practice at home, and you can get really, really crazy with your snowflakes. And then you'll learn eventually when to stop so that you don't have a super over-detailed snowflake that you can't even fit on a nail. I guess, yeah, we gotta keep them simple. Another good tip is to make them really thick, the lines. Then they'll kind of look like snowflakes that are cookie-shaped, and you'll want to eat them. Thank you for watching my video today. Give this a thumbs up. You can subscribe down below so you can see more cartoony tips for the future. Yes, cartoony tips. That's what we're gonna do. Cartoony tips for, no. Tips for having cartoony nails. Here on your very dear channel, Toony Nails with Raquelita, which is me. Thank you very much. You can follow me on Instagram too. That's in the information below in the video. I post videos every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, Vancouver time, British Columbia time, Canada time. Well, 1/4 of Canada, because Canada is huge, has like 4 time zones. And don't forget to use cuticle oil. Oh, as an extra, since I'm already here in my fruity room, this is cuticle. Bobby! I stepped on my cameraman's private parts while getting the cuticle oil I use. L'Occitane and Provence. Can you see it there?
Yeah.
They have a really nice cuticle oil bottle. I think it's $25. Smells delicious, and everything they do is ethical. They don't test on animals. It has a little brush. You just put it on your cuticle area there and massage it in. Do that every night like you would use lip balm. That's what I mean by don't forget to use cuticle oil. Bye! See you next week!